Welcome to Wild, Women in Lending Determined to Make an Impact. I'm your host, Robin Lavasser. They say our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's being powerful beyond measure. In this podcast, I will share how to break through imaginary ceilings, lean into success, discovering your purpose, and understanding how to create the business and life of your dreams. From failures to triumphs and all the tactics in between, let's jump into the wild arena together. Welcome back to Wild with Robin Lavasser. Leadership. I talk a lot about leadership, actually, and I read a quote or heard a quote the other day on social media. I actually think it was a clip of a podcast or an interview of some sort, and it struck me. And I kind of dug into it. And you ever have those moments where you're like, you know what, that's such an interesting point, and I need to learn more about it. And so I thought I'd kind of bring it here for discussion's sake and discuss it with all of you. And the quote for that was, every relationship to truly be successful needs a leader. And I thought, wow. I took a step back and I really started to analyze all the relationships in my life over the time, the years, and whether it is in friendship. That doesn't mean it's always the same person who's leading in that moment. It's in my relationship with my children. It's in marriage, if you will. It's in work relationships, every relationship needing a leader. And I thought, is that true? And so I did some digging, and I thought I would share with you some of the things that kind of struck me, if you will, in reading about it and listening and noodling, if you will, on that concept. And gosh, I'll be darned, it really is true. And knowing that, I thought, here's some things that I know that I can be more clear on when a relationship is struggling. Like, where is that leader, if you will? And it's really interesting because you think about all the times that leadership is required in life, and it's really all over the place, right? In your finances and your health, and maybe you yourself are leading yourself, but somebody needs to lead, right? You have to be the leader in that circumstance. And I know that sounds a little crazy to lead yourself, but it's true, right? Sometimes we don't lead ourselves well. And so every relationship, even self-relationships, need a leader. What does that look like? Well, business, marriage, friendships, family, someone has to be in the lead. And it doesn't always say that's the boss, if you will, that there's not collaboration. So I want to be clear on that. But it is when two people enter into an unspoken agreement, that secret contract, if you will, that's when success follows. And there's a leader in that secret agreement, if you will. And when I say a secret agreement, I don't mean like hush hush. I mean, let's say that you sit down in your marriage and you say, hey, there are moments when my husband takes the lead, right? Steady. I'm actually probably more logical than my husband. So John is very steady. He's very hardworking. He knows how to solve certain circumstances really well. He's very much John's more tenacious than me. He's better at finishing a project than I am. I'm more of a visionary, a big picture, a delegator, a push us forward when we're dragging. I'm more of a coach and a corrector, if you will. I'm in charge of our finances, right? And so we have different roles at any given time where he's the leader or I'm the leader. Almost never, in fact, it causes fights for us when neither of us is leading, if I really think about it, or when we're both trying to lead. We joke that if let's say we're doing a spring cleaning project on the house, or, it's fall time right now, so we're getting ready for fall. He and I really struggle being in the same room trying to achieve something that is project-based. Maybe that's, like I said, spring cleaning. Hey, let's get the entire house inside and out ready. One of us is generally outside, one of us is inside. Now, I'm leading the projects maybe inside and he's leading the projects outside, but when we're together, we tend to clash until we have an established leader. There are things that I will hand over to him in leadership, and there are things that he will gladly hand over to me in leadership. When we can't establish who that is, we don't get very far very fast, right? In fact, frustration grows quickly. And so that chaos, we stall, we resentment a little bit, goals get fuzzy, finger pointing, blame. And we know that because there's no leader. There's no established leader. Instead, when he says, hey, can you come here and help me for a minute? I need you to pick this up. I need you to hold it this way. I need us to carry it here because I'm trying to achieve this. Oh, very clear leader. Otherwise, my brain doesn't work the same as his. So when I show up and he says, we should move this, I say things like, why are we moving it? Maybe we should move it over here instead. Maybe you should ask somebody else. That feels heavy. Or I'll lift it wrong. And he'll say, no, don't lift it there. Or He's pushing me to go backwards. I'm pushing him to go backwards. It's no leader. It's creating chaos. We're both getting frustrated. Nobody says, I'm in charge. You ever seen those groups where they put 5 people together and all of a sudden everybody's got an opinion and everyone's vying for the spot of leadership, and then another group right next to them with the same problem to solve very clearly delegates roles quickly, and all of a sudden they're moving forward faster? It's because a leader was established. So where and when and in business and in life in general are you not establishing leadership? In business directly, every partnership between whether it's a branch manager and a loan officer, between a realtor and their client, or you with your referral partner, even between peers, if you will, works best when somebody raises their hand and says, hey, I'll set the tone. I'll carry the accountability. I'll steer us when things get messy or hard, and I will create direction, and direction creates progress. I'm constantly telling loan officers who's the leader right now, and they very often don't know. They'll call me with a scenario, they'll call me with a problem, a challenge, a question that's arisen from an agent or a client, and they're not clear who the leader is. They're trying to problem solve, but nobody is leading. Early occupancy on a sale that maybe needs a 2-day extension, an appraisal that comes in low, a buyer and seller who can't seem to get along. And the big pieces to it are always who's leading right now. And the truth is, it's often nobody. People are blaming, people are pointing, people are hiding or shrinking from the problems, but nobody is choosing to step in and say, I'll lead. And one of the advisements that I give to LOs all the time is be the one who says, I'll be not only the leader, I'll be the communicator. I'll be the director. I am the orchestrator of the symphony right now, and I will make sure that people understand what music page we're on, how to play, and how to stay in harmony with one another. I'll take that burden on. When nobody steps up, everybody's just got ideas and opinions, and again, chaos ensues, no different than working on a small or a big project at home with your spouse. Nobody's leading. All of a sudden, nothing's truly getting done, right? Becomes an issue. So ask yourself, where am I leading well? Where am I personally leading well? Where do I need to step up or step back? Where do I need to step back and let someone else lead? You know what? I'm going to let you lead on this. It's okay. I have moments. I had something today hop up with HR and with benefits, and they're kind of asking me because the person asking is affiliated in the sales field. And so they're asking me to get involved. And I literally had to pause and say, hey, I'm not leading this. I don't want to be the leader of this. I'm not the right leader for this. So there are moments when you have to be really clear. I'm stepping back. I'm not asking, not inserting, not telling you I'm leading. I'm giving that position to you. In fact, I'm requiring it of you that either you or somebody that you find lead this, because it's not me. Otherwise, it's I'm stepping up right now. I want to be clear. I want to lead. If there is a clash in leadership, then you need to have a discussion about what they're willing to take on. I promise you, if you talk about what needs to happen next and you say, I'm the one who's willing to do that, most people will instantly step back before they'll step forward. If somebody is stepping forward and you know they're more well qualified, really have the desire, and it's the right outcome of getting it right, not being right, then go ahead and allow for that, right? If you know you're the right leader in that situation, that there's opportunity in that leadership spot, please step in, right? Step in, use your voice, and become the leader. I think about when I have let things drift without leadership at all, where I have done that. And I can't tell you how much pain that has cost me in my own business and in my own life. And I've really learned to pause, and especially just in these last few weeks, and say, who's the leader right now? Are we clear on it? Is everyone clear on it? Or are we all thinking that we're the leader? That's a problem. We can't have that many leaders, right? Is nobody owning that they're a leader? That's also the problem. So I want you to think leadership and relationships are rarely talked about. That's the truth, right? We don't tend to establish, because we think of it as leadership being superior. Leadership is not superiority. Leadership is saying, I'm the one who's going to take on the tasks and the directions, if you will, and be the GPS to get us the best outcome, not to take credit for all of it. Everybody else is still part of it, but somebody. Can you imagine if 3 people were trying to fly the plane all at the same time? If multiple people were trying to drive to a destination? If tons of people were trying to stand at the same microphone and give directions? If multiple people were in the kitchen trying to cook all at the same time on the same exact dish? It just simply doesn't work. Somebody has to be the clear and established leader to have the greatest chance of an outcome that everybody actually wants. So I'm going to give you a couple tactics as we wrap this up. Without direction, momentum stalls. Leadership creates progress. So I want you to say at any given time, if you're uncomfortable, hey, I feel like this, in order for us to all move forward, somebody needs to lead. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to lead. Here's what to me that looks like. I'll be in charge of all communication and updates from here forward. Here's what that looks like. I'll do this, this, and this, whatever that is. Is that okay with you? If they're, no, I'd like to lead. Okay, great. Right now we're going to have a conversation, but somebody is stepping in without anybody's voice saying this needs a leader and I'm potentially willing to do it, or I think you'd be best for it and here's why. Now all of a sudden we're gaining clarity, which gains progress, right? We're making progress. Second is leadership can be shared. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. I think sometimes we think that if we're a leader, we're always the leader. I've had that problem before. I've also had the problem of never leaning into leadership as to not hold myself accountable, as to have a CYA, if you will, somebody else to blame. That doesn't work either. Both roles, both the leader and the follower of the leader, are vital to the ultimate success. So it's okay as a leader to establish and say, hey, we established that I'm going to lead, but it doesn't feel like you're following. It's okay to check yourself and say, I agreed to not lead, but I'm now not being a good follower. That matters. It matters in business. It matters in life. The very last is leadership is actually service. I say all the time that there are two most powerful forms of leadership, and that is example leadership and service leadership, right? There's nothing more powerful. The dictator is very small, very rarely needed, hopefully, when you're a great leader in general. It's never about control. It's about setting the tone, taking responsibility, and helping things move forward for the very best outcome for all involved, not for self indulgence, right? Not for self reward. You really want it in the greater good of people. So, leadership in service is the most powerful leadership that you can present. And I promise you, it's a tool in business in general that will make you so attractive, so rewarding, so valuable to other people that you will want to lean in over and over again and say, pick me. I'd like to be the one to lead. If this was helpful, I hope you share it. We'll see you on the next Wild.